Blackstone Audio presents Don't Wait for the Next War, A Strategy for American Growth and Global Leadership by General Retired Wesley K. Clark. This book is read by Donald Corren.
This book is dedicated to American veterans who have served both in war and in peace. For more than a century, they have borne personally the weight of America's strategy in its successes and in its failures. In their honor, it is time for the United States to create an effective national strategy before the next war compels us to do so. Introduction. Gathered around a dinner table, sipping their drinks and glancing at the menus, were members of the Syrian opposition, a young businessman from Chicago, a mild-mannered professor from the University of Arkansas, another younger man who had flown in from London, a local associate, and a couple of others. They were in Los Angeles in April 2013 looking for American support, money, friends, influence, and understanding. Most lived in the United States. Some had grown up here. All knew what America stood for: freedom, democracy, opportunity. This was why they, or their families before them, had emigrated here in the first place, and this was precisely what they wanted to take home to Syria. They also knew that America was incredibly strong economically, rich with technology, capital, and promise, and they were very much aware of what our armed forces were capable of. None of them had served in uniform, but they had a profound respect for U.S. military power, and in particular, for what our Air Force could do to help their situation at home. The situation in Syria was, of course, murderous. It was the spring of 2013, and the death toll in that nation had just surpassed 100,000. I was also at the table that night. I had been invited by an associate who had broad business relationships in the Middle East because of my background and general interest in issues of war and diplomacy. Ultimately, while the Syrians wanted support from the U.S. government, they were also looking for friends and whatever forms of assistance might be available outside of government sources. So we talked about the struggles of a group of brave men and women to resist a tyrannical and brutal regime. The stunning death toll was only the beginning. Millions of Syrians had been driven from their homes, and refugees were flooding into neighboring states to escape the fighting. Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?